This is why AMC and GME are so dangerous and annoying to hedge funds, market makers, and the shorts in general. It's because on a stock that's trading normally, that's not AMC and GME, people trade, a lot of people trade in supply and demand zones. When a stock moves up and it hits a certain level, that's a supply zone. And supply zones are usually when people take profits. So you can always depend, the market makers, excuse me, can always depend on people selling the stock, taking profits, and they can bring the price down. And on the low end, like when it hits a supply zone, the only thing that really can keep it going, keep it moving, is a catalyst, is a big news, acquisition, merger, whatever that. Even if someone is taking profit, it's so many people want to get in that stock because such great news came out that brought the stock to a higher valuation that they still want to buy even in the supply zone, which takes stocks to different levels and different highs. And on the low side, you have demand zones, like when people took profit, but it get down so low that it's oversold and it becomes a bargain. It becomes a great buy when it get down so low. So when it hits a certain level, it enters a demand zone where people buy it up, and the market makers can always depend on the price going back up. That's why most of the time stocks usually consolidate. They go from a supply zone to a demand zone, a supply zone to a demand zone, and stays in until you get a catalyst, earnings or whatever, brings a stock to a lower valuation or higher valuation. So that's natural ebbs and flows of the market. See what I'm saying? But with AMC and GME, there's no supply zones. There's demand zones. When you go down low, when AMC and GME gets low, there's high demand zones where people just buy the dip. And then you also have you can also say that for some investors that's a panic zone because they loaded up so high so much at higher prices that it's a panic zone where they feel like they're holding the bag. Like you gotta tell the bad side and the good side. But this is why AMC and GME is so dangerous and so annoying to market makers, hedge funds, and shorts in general. When you get up, when the stock starts rising, there's no supply zone. You got two levels. You got this level when the stock goes up, it gets to this level, and that's a could it be zone. Like a lot of people eyes start hitting the stock like, could this be it? Could this be the MOAS or whatever people want to call it? And then as it gets higher and hit another zone, then it hits that zone. That's not a supply zone. It's a FOMO zone. You see what I'm saying? With AMC and GME, you have a could it be zone. It hit that zone, and then it keeps going up, and then it hits a FOMO zone. Like, oh, this looks like it is. This stock is getting so high, and then a fear of missing out zone where people just start piling in with YOLO plays, and everybody start piling in because they don't want to miss out on a big run. So it's terrible for them because all that's going to do is keep pushing price action up. And the way they combat that is, okay, all these millions of dollars coming into the stock, they're shorting with counterfeit, naked, millions of dollars come into the stock at a FOMO zone, and they have no choice. We say they're cheating because they're using counterfeit shares, naked shorting the stock back down, short laddering, and shares that are not there because before the cat system hit, AMC was 69% owned by retail investors. You can look this up. But when the cat system hit, you have information sources giving a 90% that the stock that AMC is owned by 90% retail investors. So you got data coming in that is not. So I'm going to give my estimate as 80%. So I'm gonna come in the middle. So I'm gonna be fair and meet it at a. So AMC stock is owned 80% by retail investors, and then in a FOMO zone, you got all the millions of dollars of FOMO money coming in, and then you got these shares that they bring out of nowhere to short the stock back down. So you got billions and billions of dollars to combat millions of dollars from coming in the stock in a FOMO zone. You have to come with billions to override that to bring the stock down. So they're coming in with billions of dollars worth of counterfeit naked shorts. The reason is and then you'll have people to say there's no evidence of naked shorting. Like, it's simple math. If 80%, if we know on a conservative valuation of 80% of the stock owned by retail investors, then there is no shares to short it down. So for billions of dollars worth of shares, short shares to come in to bring it down from a FOMO zone, so hedge funds don't get obliterated, it has to be naked. And the reason why they feel it's okay to use naked shorts is because, okay, we can depend on the panic zone to get them to sell, and then we can account for these FTDs, naked shorts, counterfeit shares, from them selling in panic zones. If anybody can follow what I'm saying, it makes perfect sense. Like, this is the way I see it. You know, you're always gonna have technical guys who went to school for this and all to come up with with the real reasons that they give us why things happen. But simple math tells you that this is what's going on. Like, but the reason why AMC and GME is so dangerous because there's no supply zones. That's why they have to keep the stock. AMC looks like you have first squeeze, second squeeze, and all you got is reverse stock split, crash, and then a barcode. Because it's so dangerous to even let that thing go up a little bit, because there's no supply zones to where people are going to sell. It's FOMO zones. The only reason that the shares owned by retail went down from 90% to 60% was because of all the dilution in reverse stock split. But it went right back up to 80-90%. Like, it's just like, even if the way I see it, this is the way I see it. Even if they're going to keep cheating and just let liquidity stay there in counterfeit shares and naked shorts forever, like, it's still for people who have never been wealthy and come up from humble beginnings or poverty or whatever. I mean, it's worth it to just let your money sit in there just in case, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to maybe get a lot of money. I mean, we've been poor. I mean, so don't put too much in. Don't put too much in that you can't afford. A reasonable amount of money, letting it stay in AMC and GME stock, even if they're going to keep cheating, because it's a chance. You know what I'm saying? We've been poor, so if they're never going to let it go up, we've been poor. So, hey, I got other things going on to gain my wealth. You know what I'm saying? I got other stocks I'm investing in. I'm trading, but those stocks, man, it's crazy. It's something that's never been seen before. But y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Logical Life Perspective.